up with your name on my screen again. 3 a.m., guess I ain't sleeping then. You say hope you're good, I hit you back slow, but I know you just wanna see if I'm low. Whiskey in a solo, ash on the dash, still riding past the place we crashed. Yeah, you left like smoke in the wind, and I still ain't sure where we end. I've been running from the silence, turn my heartbreak into mileage, but I still hear your voice in the static. Girl, we were magic, now it's just habit. We were burning like a black road flame. Now I'm out here missing your name. Got a full tank and a hard hat road, trying to outrun what hurts the most. You were heading till you slammed the door. Now I'm speeding toward what was it for? Yeah, I keep running, but I just crashed. Guess I'm headed nowhere fast. You're out in LA with a brand new view, but every skyline just feels less you. I'm stuck in a bar in this one light town, trying to find the high that you tore down. All my boys say she ain't worth it, but every song still makes it hurt worse. I get paid just if it broke, spending my nights on things I don't show. We were burning like a back road flame. Now I'm out here missing your name. Got a full tank and a hard hat road, trying to outrun what hurts the most. You were heading till you slammed the door. Now I'm speeding toward what was it for? Yeah, I keep running, but I just crashed. Guess I'm headed nowhere fast. These songs, these shows, for one more night back in your clothes, but you're a ghost now in my past, and I'm just chasing things that don't last. We were burning like a back road flame. Now I'm out here drowning in pain. Got a new girl, but it don't feel right. She don't know she's just a fight with the night. You were heaven till you slammed the door. Now I'm speeding toward what was it for? Yeah, I keep running, but I just crashed. Guess I'm headed nowhere fast.
The most trusted name in automotive and proudly supporting Newfoundland and Labrador for 120 years. Choose Hickman for your next gasoline, diesel, or electric vehicle. Family drives everything. NL Kubota has Kubota attachments and Toro snowblowers in stock now. Visit 15 Mills Way in St. John's or 70 Row Avenue in Gander. Alpha Supplements, your local one-stop shop for all things health and fitness, with 2 locations in St. John's and Mount Pearl. Alrighty, well, good afternoon everybody. It has certainly been a bit of a busy day for me. Cooking here in about 4 hours of sleep, maybe 4.5. So this is like my 4th cup of coffee today. So if I stumble and bumble my way through this, my apologies. So where are we? It's 4:07 this afternoon. Remember yesterday I talked about the potential of a little bit of freezing drizzle or a lull in the precipitation on the Avalon, or at least part of the Avalon. That came to fruition, right? We had a few hours where it wasn't doing much of anything. Some areas saw a bit of drizzle, some areas saw a bit of freezing drizzle. And I got a lot of questions, and I saw some comments floating around the socials saying, where's the storm? Well, let's put this into perspective. St. John's has seen roughly 30 centimeters of snow. I've seen some pictures from Clarenville showing very similar amounts. Of that 30 centimeters, about 16 fell in 2 hours this morning. It was very stormy when I woke up. I looked out the window. It was at 4:30 when I peeked, my head got off the pillow, looked outside, and it was some of the heaviest snow I've seen probably since Snowmageddon. The difference is Snowmageddon, it lasted like that all day. We had a few hours of it this morning, and then it lightened up, and now we're going to get a few more hours of lighter to moderate snow, but it's going to snow now for the next like 12 hours or so on the Avalon. So even though we're only at 30 centimeters or so, we still have 10 plus to go before we're kind of all said and done. And as we look at the St. John's downtown cam overlooking New Gower Street, that started us off this morning at 7 o'clock. And watch what happened throughout the day. It was snowy, it was blowy, and then by noon, it wasn't doing much, right? 12:20, not looking too bad. Now we get into the evening, watch what happens. Snow comes back and roads are getting greasy again in a hurry. We can take a look at the St. John's International Airport webcam, and that's the latest image from their webcam. Looking pretty nasty up there. Can't really see a whole lot. I imagine we're not having a lot of air travel in and out of the province this afternoon. I should say province, in and out of St. John's this afternoon. There's other airports, I know that. I would say St. John's and Gander are probably having some issues. Deer Lake may not be so bad. As we look at some of the latest webcams, there we are on Holyrood, Bay Roberts, Whitburn, Salmon Line. Depending where you are, it's not awful in all areas. Snowing in Bay Roberts, looks like lightly. Whitburn, TCH looks wet. Salmon Line, not looking great. And Holyrood looks pretty gnarly right now. A little bit further west, there's the view in Goobies. That's the current view in, I should say, Clarenville. Oh, my system might not have liked this. My weather graphics may have just crashed on us. We will see. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, there's something about that scene I didn't like. All right, so we'll switch over to, well, that's a bummer. Let's see if I can fumble my way through this now. Okay, does anyone work for me here? All right. So I was showing you the webcams. All right, so my weather graphics just crashed on us, and that was a big part of how I was gonna run through this live. So we'll see what I can get cooking here. So we'll look at the 511 NL map, and I can bring up some of the cameras. It's probably the easiest thing to do. And we can see that again in Bay Roberts, we are seeing the snow there. As we look into Paddy's Pond, it's looking pretty snowy there. And then we look at the TCH between Clarenville and Port Blanford, where travel is currently not recommended. And same thing on the Bonavista Peninsula Highway. There's a view from Port Rexton, but travel is not recommended there right now either. I don't think any area is closed, although Team Guju was closed this morning. And then Birchy Narrows camera's not working. Springdale looking a little snowy. Peeking to Gander, snowing in Gander right now, pretty good. So we are watching the snow and the wind, which is going to ramp up in intensity as we get into this evening. And I'm going to try and see if I can get my weather graphics back up and running. In the meantime, okay, so the same thing happened a few minutes ago. And let's see if that's going to load. Oh, we might have success. Okay, so I'm going to, it's not liking something to do with the webcams. So I'm talking to myself here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do one thing real quick. And we're going to get right back into the weather forecast here. But I'm not sure what's going on with the system here. It's not liking something. Okay, so we saw that. Now we can flip over to radar. Okay. I'm not on live TV, but live issues. And unfortunately, I'm not on live TV because I have nobody to toss to. See, when I was on TV and something like that happened, I could buy myself some time. Try and fix things. So, let's get into this now. Okay, so earlier, we didn't have a whole lot going on in the metro area, and the snow has obviously come back. We can see it there now kind of filling in over the easternmost peninsula. And I'm seeing some comments saying that it's snowing on the Burin Peninsula as well right now, which is not a big surprise to me. And we are going to see the snow really persisting for much of eastern Newfoundland for the next little while, because as we look back across the rest of Newfoundland, right, we see a lot of snow all back in here. And basically some of that's kind of going to diminish as it makes its way eastward, but it's not going to be going east in a hurry. And this band that we're seeing setting up shop over in this area here, this is forecast to stay in this area for like the next like 8 to 10 hours or so. So again, we're not long, right, from seeing the snow pick back up, and we're a long time from seeing this system wrapping up entirely. Wider picture shows that we have the circulation to our south. That's our area of low pressure. And the low is sitting somewhere just east of the Avalon right now. And so as that begins to pull away, we're done with like the super heavy snowfall, but we're not done with the snow. We won't be until tomorrow morning. And we're also seeing the winds picking up. And that's going to be the next phase of this, is going to be the snow and the wind. And the wind speeds are going to peak this evening. And so that is something that we want to keep in mind as well. That it is going to be on the windier side as we get into this evening. I have to get my phone plugged in because that is what is keeping this live stream going, and it doesn't, I don't know if I have a cable long enough to reach it. Let's see. There we go. Okay. There we go. Sorry, folks. And so as as this pulls away, high builds in, that's going to increase the wind speed. So the winds are going to peak now into this evening, right? So the winter storm warning still in effect for St. John's, excuse me, for the Avalon Peninsula, Clarenville area. It's an orange level winter storm warning. And then back to the northwest, we're looking at yellow level winter storm warnings. And the difference is essentially the impacts to the area. Orange, we're expecting more snow and more wind. And then where it's yellow, my lights are flickering, a little bit less snow, but also some wind. And so what are we looking at timing-wise for all this? Well, here we are, 5 p.m. this evening. So watch this area of snow move from west across central and eastern Newfoundland, over the Avalon, over the Bonavista Peninsula, back towards Terra Nova National Park, back over the Burin Peninsula by 9 p.m. But what I want to draw your attention to is how this area is in the snow for the next several hours, and watch what happens as we go into the overnight. It's still snowing at midnight on the Avalon and the Metro. It looks like it's done with by 3 or 4 in the morning. And then the real cleanup can begin. So the question is, does it end early enough that the roads and streets and everything are going to be cleaned off for things to get back to normal tomorrow? Between the snow and the wind, I have doubts. I don't think tomorrow is going to be a full-on snow day. But I do think there probably are going to be some delays. People are saying Paradise is terrible right now. Matthew Johnson, 83, 8383, reasonable to expect delayed openings for public schools Tuesday. That's kind of my thought at the moment. All right, so here's our total snowfall forecast. Not what's left to fall, but total going back to last night all the way through tomorrow morning. 30 to 50 is what I have for eastern Newfoundland. I think, like, from what I understand, Clarenville, likely Bonavista Peninsula kind of in there. Much of the Avalon's probably in there as well. I've heard some areas out around like Dover and Hare Bay have seen more like freezing drizzle today. You should get some snow, but maybe we're not going to be in that 30 range. It might be under. Gander, I think, was closing in on 15. You should get close to that 30 range by the time we're all said and done. But I think Clarenville area likely is kind of going to be the winner in this one, or at least the winner, the most snow. And maybe even the Avalon North, which is something I kind of alluded to yesterday. So we'll see what happens as we go into the evening and overnight. But again, we're still looking at 30 to 50 by the time we're all said and done. St. John's is already at 30, so at least that one place has verified in my forecast. That's always good to see. And off to the west, again, the amounts are going to be a little bit less than what we're seeing on the Avalon and for eastern Newfoundland, but still kind of significant in some areas. Western and southwestern Newfoundland, this is not a storm that's going to be a big deal for you. We are seeing snow in Labrador today. That will wind down this evening as well. So the other aspect of this is the wind, and the winds are going to ramp up and peak this evening. So in St. John's now, we're gusting 46. Look at Bonavista. The wind there, sorry, these are sustained. The wind in Bonavista currently sustained at 81. Sagona Island sustained 96. And we're looking at 46 in Gander, Pools Island 65, and Twillingate is 46. Cape Race, we don't have to believe that, right? We're not going to believe that at all. Wind gusts in St. John's, only 69. So here's the thing. I've gotten real good at estimating wind speed from the way my house sounds, and I'm wondering if like the anemometer in St. John's has a bit of ice or something on it, or snow, because that seems pretty low, especially considering that St. John's and Greats Cove typically aren't that far apart, and Bonavista is gusting 98. So I'm wondering if this is low. We'll see. You know what the wind speed could be? 6, 7? I had to do it. Sorry. Just started snowing again in Greats Cove. Wind has picked up, it seems. Yeah, so we'll see what's going to happen with the wind. Now, here's the forecast. So the forecast shows 85 gusts in St. John's at 6, 122 Bonavista, and we can kind of interpolate Greats Cove is somewhere between the two. And the wind speeds are going to peak again this evening, maybe as high as 100 in the Metro St. John's area, Avalon North. And then they slack off as we go into the latter part of the overnight, and by midday tomorrow, it's still breezy. When is it not breezy? We will see. Increased risk of frazzle ice. I saw that as a YouTube comment. I don't think I don't know what conditions cause frazzle ice. That'd be a good question to ask Rob, who was speaking to NL Hydro about it. But I think it's like really cold weather and the big drops in temperature. I don't think we're going to see that type of setup right now. Coastal flood warnings are still in effect for much of the Avalon, Northeast Coast, Bonavista Peninsula for high tides tonight and again tomorrow. So keep that in mind that we could see some coastal flooding. We did see some in the Placentia area today. I think that's a facet of, I think, an infrastructure issue and also high water levels in Placentia Bay. So for you folks around the Placentia area where I know coastal flooding is somewhat common, you can expect more with the subsequent high tides. And for you folks, around CBS, out in Trinity Bay, Conception Bay, Bonavista Bay, that can see coastal flooding, I would expect it with the high tides between the storm surge and the large waves from our kind of slow-moving outgoing area of low pressure. The snow has gotten wetter throughout the day. Temperatures only near zero for most of Newfoundland right now. And we're looking at -1 to -13 into Labrador at the moment. And for tonight, temperatures are going to be near 0 to -5 on the island, so staying on the milder side of things, and then -teens to -30 in Labrador. And then for the day tomorrow, we're not getting very cold in the island behind this, highs near 0. And then we're looking at like -6 to -12 for highs in Labrador. Now, there were some rumors of some snow coming on Thursday, and right now it looks like that system may bypass us to the south, so that wouldn't be the worst thing. So I'm not like gung-ho on Thursday snow, but we'll keep a close eye on it. But there are more chances for snow across the island for the next few days, but it does not look like we're going to remain super cold. But if you have a backyard rink, you are really liking kind of these temperatures, I would imagine, although maybe you want it a little bit colder at night. 5-day forecast for Labrador will show on this in the south -6 to -8, in the north and the west. In the Goose Bay area, highs remaining well below the freezing mark, which is par for the course, if you will. Looks like Dee Sullivan saying the storm surge is incredible here. Dee, where are you? That's on Facebook. Dee, where are you? If you can answer, just write another comment there. Power went at Mount Pearl. Okay, so let's see if we can pull up. This should be swapping stuff for me, and it's not. Let's see if we can pull up the Newfoundland Power outages. Newfoundland Power. And great. Center. Okay, outage map. Okay, so it looks like there's one outage reported now. Torch Cove, Balling East. I don't see anything else showing up on this map for the time being. Not to say it's not happening. So keep a close eye on things. Go to the south. Yeah, there's nothing showing up. Lights flickering east end. Yeah, so I would imagine like we're gonna see the lights flicker a little bit as the wind picks up, and there's kind of some heavy snow on the line. So I'll keep a close eye on those things. But in the meantime, any more snow in Terranceville? How much more snow are we supposed to get? Well, who said that? Connor Waddleton. Connor. Well, I need to know where you are, first of all, so I can answer that question. Secondly, it depends on where you are, but I would, in St. John's, we're looking at like at least 10 more centimeters, like on the low end, and could be as much as 20 on the high end. So we will see what happens. Had a power blip Mount Pearl, and that went again. What is going on with this here today? I wonder if we lost power at the office. Oh man, I don't like that that is doing that. Anyway, we'll flip over to, oh, my kids are yelling upstairs about something. In the meantime, hearing transformers booming in East End. That might be, yeah, because that's where my office is located. Mount Pearl, not Mount Pearl. East End. Alrighty, so I'm gonna work on is the storm over in Bonavista? No, it's not. It is not. Getting nasty in Botwood, yeah. So we are like, we're kind of a long way from being done. I can do this the old-fashioned way. Right, so this is the hourly forecast. Let's see what you're seeing here for the next few hours. And so I know it doesn't, so this is 3:30, 2:30, 3:30, 4:30, 5:30, 6:30, 7:30. This is 8:30, right? So this is the forecast for 8:30. Blue is snow, dark blue is heavier snow. And so now we're 8:30, we'll step through time, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, 2:30, 3:30, 4:30, 5:30, lightly snowing, so pretty much 4:30, 5:30, we're pretty much done with the snow. And that's, as you can see, a lot of us have several hours left to go before we're all said and done. So, can somebody give me an estimate on how much snow's fell in Clarenville? I'm curious to that. Anyway, I'm looking at all sorts of questions now, and I'm going to try and get another forecast up that's not live, so be a bit more concise. In the meantime, be sure to get the app if you don't have it. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on YouTube if you don't follow me there. That's basically all I got for you right now for live coverage on this. I will do more if I need to this evening, but I'm going to get a forecast up and out and give that a watch. If you have, if you'd like, please. In the meantime, have a very good evening and stay tuned for more updates. Thank you very much, and I'll try and answer some questions if I can in the comments. See you soon.